Glad to have you here again on Money Matters. I am Folashade Ogrinde. Every year on December 7th, stakeholders in the aviation sector celebrate the International Civil Aviation Day. This day is celebrated worldwide to reinforce awareness of the role and importance of International Civil Aviation Organization in air travel across the globe. However, for the year 2020, it is not business as usual. In Nigeria, the gripping effects of COVID-19 pandemic have been felt by both customers and airline operators. Just recently, one of Nigeria's major airlines laid off 300 workers of the airline after announcing an 80% pay cut for all staff of the company for the month of April 2020, while putting 90% workforce on compulsory leave without pay from May 1. Aside the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the recent spike in Naira to dollar rate has also exposed local airlines to more financial needs. While many will agree that the approved 5 billion Naira government funding for the aviation sector is badly needed to save it from going under, some say it is barely enough. I'm joined now by aviation analyst Chidozie Uzeze, who joins me to discuss this issue. Thank you, Mr. Uzeze, for joining me on Money Matters. Thank you. I'm glad to be on the program today. Now, it's no secret that COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on the economies of most countries. But tell us, how badly has it affected Nigeria's aviation sector?
Perhaps the first thing we need to do is to establish the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the global aviation industry. This is a pandemic, it's a global pandemic, not an African thing, it's not a Nigerian thing. So the effect is a ripple effect from America, from Europe, from Asia, down to Africa and down to Nigeria. According to ICAO, the aviation industry is going to lose about, airlines globally will lose about $300 billion in 2020. Out of this $300 billion, about $13 billion or $15 billion is going to be lost by carriers in Africa. That includes airlines in Nigeria. That tells you how small the airline industry is in Africa and in Nigeria. And there's going to be loss of, there's already a loss of millions and millions of jobs. Out of this, there are about 3.5 million that will be lost in Africa alone. And as I speak with you, I can tell you that the aviation industry is in a fix. Every airline is in a fix. All airlines are in a fix. The global aviation industry is a fix. I can tell you that no airline is going to end 2020 with a positive cash flow. Every airline is going to end 2020 with a negative cash flow. I can tell you that for free. It's a fact. No airline is going to make profit this year, except those airlines that have had robust cargo operations. For instance, Ethiopian Airlines that declared profit a few weeks ago. It's a misnomer that they could declare a profit a few weeks ago. What I think is that they were actually leaning on the profit they have been making over the years. But for 2020, airlines are bleeding. The industry is bleeding. It's not a Nigerian thing. You understand? Aircrafts are grounded, flights are grounded. For you to make money, aircrafts have to fly. These are very expensive aircraft. You don't buy them and keep them on the ground. They don't make money on the ground. They make money when they fly. For instance, a Boeing 737 or an A320 costs $100 million. You don't buy that machine and keep it on the ground. It makes money when it flies. $100 million is too much money to be bought and kept on the ground. So these airlines they're not making money. The aviation industry is actually it's not a money spinner. You understand? Contrary to what people think, you can make some money from the industry, but it's not a money spinner. You make money and you spend money. So the profit margin is very, very, very small in aviation industry. So the COVID-19, before the COVID-19 came, the aviation industry was already facing too many challenges. In Africa alone, in Nigeria alone, we already had challenges of unpopular and unfavorable government policies. We have multiple taxation. There was this problem of a poor infrastructure. You understand? You land your aircraft on a bad runway. The landing gear goes bad. You have to maintain it. If something goes bad, you have to fly in your team of engineers from your hub airport, or perhaps flying a part from your hub airport And if the part is not there, you have to import. You understand? So perhaps what it means that that flight has been cancelled. So another cost challenge to the airline. So I'm not before I even go into COVID-19 pandemic. The industry in Africa, the industry in Nigeria is already having its challenges, and then with the advent of COVID-19, there are now multiple challenges that African airlines are facing. So COVID-19 has had a very bad massive effect on the airline industry.
Now, quickly, you touched on something very important. That's pre-COVID-19. Give us a picture briefly of how the aviation industry was just before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, pre-2020 COVID, aviation industry was pretty in good shape. Even though there were challenges of, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, there were challenges of poor infrastructure, challenges of multiple taxation for African airlines. There were also challenges of forex problem. You understand? African airlines, they have additional problem of forex exchange. You understand? Aviation industry is a dollar bill industry. Everything is priced in dollars. Every aircraft part is priced in dollars. Everything you buy is in dollars. So it's a dollar bill industry. And over the past 5 years, Naira has been depleting has been going from bad to worse, and but I think Naira is at its lowest in the past 10 years in Nigeria, if I can say that. So the purchasing power of African airlines and Nigerian airlines in particular is getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, and they have to operate. You understand? So, but if they don't say this, you won't understand it. You think there's so much money in this industry. Of course, there's money. There is money in this, but there is so much profit in the industry. So the profit, like I said, is very small. Do you understand? If for instance, if you want to operate a Boeing 737 for an hour, you understand? It has its challenges. A Boeing 737 will take about 3,000 liters for an hour flight, and in Nigeria, a jet air, which is aviation fuel, costs about 250 to 300 naira per liter. That means you're spending, if you multiply that by 3,000 liters, you are spending about 750,000 naira on an hour flight. Even if that flight is carrying only 10 passengers, you're going to use the same amount of fuel, the same crew, at least 2 pilots in the cockpit, and maybe 3 or 4 cabin crew in the cabin. So the airlines in Nigeria are bleeding, and the government is not helping matters. You know, so I understand that there was a bailout that was approved a couple of a few weeks ago for Nigerian airlines. Now,
definitely, we should talk about the bailout fund of the federal government. But you were speaking of pricing. Now let's talk about the 100% increase in the price of air tickets, which was largely attributed to rising insecurity and cost of flight operations. Now, do you think this will have a ripple effect on the survival of the aviation sector?
The effect, there will be some effect, but it's more on the customers, the passengers. Do you understand? There are 2 perspectives to this: the passenger perspective and the airline perspective. Let me take it from the passenger perspective first of all. It's unfortunate that in most other parts of the world, in Europe, America, Asia, Middle East, and Australia, this is the time airlines give back to their customers who are patronizing from January to December. This is the time they give back to them by rolling out promotional fares, slashed fares, and some other incentives. But in Nigeria, this is time for airlines to make their passengers dry, which is unfair. It doesn't make any sense that you bite the finger that fits you. I understand the airlines are operating in a very difficult environment, but it makes no sense to make your passengers dry at the end of the year. This is time to appreciate your passengers. Give them promotional fares, give them slashed fares, give them discounts. After all, they've been there for you for the past 11, 12 months. So I think while airlines in Nigeria are trying to make money, they are sending a message out there that they can actually bite the fingers that feed them. But that's the perspective of the passengers. From the airline's perspective, it's actually a sorry story, because in Nigeria, in Africa, the only time airlines make money is during this time of the year, Christmas and New Year. Do you understand? In America, in Asia, other parts of the world, airlines make money in summer. That's where people travel. People don't travel in Africa. People don't travel in summer. In Nigeria, people don't travel in summer. Nobody travels from Lagos to Port Harcourt to do a summer holiday. But in America, in Europe, and other parts of the world, people travel between June, July, August, September, October. People travel on holidays because they go on holidays. In Africa, we don't go on holidays. Nigerians don't go on holidays. So we don't travel in summer. So the only time the airlines wait for us, the time the airlines wait for African travelers is the time of Christmas and New Year. Sadly, you understand? But it doesn't make any sense still. So Nigerian airlines actually do not make much money between January to October. At least so they claim. So the only time, so I was speaking with an airline staff a few months ago. He told me, Chidozie, that this is the time airlines in Nigeria make money. I understand. I was talking to you from a personal perspective, but he spoke to me from an airline perspective, and I told him his point of view. But it was sad that they had to increase price at this time of the year. A few months ago, just after the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown was lifted, airlines in Nigeria began to increase their prices. I remember making a tweet on Twitter calling them out that they shouldn't increase their price, that it was unfair that these passengers also went through COVID-19 pandemic.
But just as you said, Mr. Chidozie, from the airline's perspective, you know, they've had so many losses, especially during the period of the lockdown from March. And it seems business-wise at this time for them to try to recoup some of the money they've lost. Wouldn't you agree that, you know, the airlines, you know, though it may not pay the customers, but they're trying to just do what is best for business?
Yes, I already mentioned that a few minutes ago. I said that I understand the airlines' plight. They actually, they're just barely surviving. They're not thriving. No airline in Nigeria is thriving. Contrary to what the public believes, we think that if you fly 100 passengers and they pay 50,000 naira each, that you're making 2 million naira or 5 million naira. Actually, half of that money goes to the authorities, like tax, like I mentioned before. There's multiple taxation, there's double taxation, there's airport charges and there are airport surcharges. FAN also increased their passenger service charge from, I think, from 1,000 to some like 2K or so. Do you understand? So these airlines are also not thriving.
But do you see the price falling anytime? Do you see the price falling anytime from now?
Yes, the price will fall. Actually, if you go to any airline's website and to book a flight for January, perhaps from second week of January, you get as low as 23,000, 25,000. In fact, I know Airline that is offering one-way ticket for 17,900 naira as we speak. That's for January. The other thing, the secret is this. I'm a frequent traveler. I book my flight all the time. The secret is this. Always book your flights ahead. I'm telling you from personal perspective. But the thing is this. It's ridiculous, really. During Christmas and New Year, airlines stop selling their tickets. They start hoarding their seats. When you go to book flight, they tell you no seats. They tell you fully booked. They tell you no available seats. You understand? But the seats are there, but they are hoarding the seats with their agents. So that when the time comes, they open the seats and begin to sell them at exorbitant price. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why they should bite the finger and feed at this part of the year. So I think the airlines are trying to make money. They have tried to be there. I mean, if you ask me, it's okay to increase your price at the end of the year in a time like this. Marginally increase your price, but not 100%. Sometimes 150%. That's not right. That's not right.
All right, we'll take a short break here, and when we return, Money Matters returns shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Money Matters. Away from the hike in the price of air tickets, federal government has given a positive nod to the disbursement of 5 billion naira fund to boost the aviation sector and protect it from going under. But the Chairman Senate Committee on Aviation, Adeyemi Smart, considers the bailout fund too small to cushion the effects of the pandemic. Do you agree with this?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Now, we all know that the federal government is giving permission for the disbursement of the 5 billion naira fund for the aviation sector. Do you agree with what the chairman Senate Committee on Aviation, Adeyemi Smart, said considering the bill? He said that money is a bit too low for what the aviation sector has gone through. Recall that the United States, Brazil and other countries also gave out funds to the aviation sector to ensure that these businesses do not go down. Now, do you agree with what Smart Adeyemi said, that these funds are too small?
Absolutely agree with Smart Adeyemi. The fund is too small. But one thing is releasing the fund to them. Another thing is having access to the fund. I don't know if the access, I don't know if the airlines have had access to the funds. Actually, the 5 billion naira actually wasn't for the airlines alone. After that 5 billion naira, 4 billion was supposed to go to the airlines, while 1 billion goes to other aviation companies like aviation handling companies like maybe SACO and maybe perhaps other aviation agencies. But the thing is this, 5 billion is not enough. It's never enough, but it's better than nothing. You understand? If these funds had been there, perhaps they wouldn't have had to sack staff, like you mentioned when you were introducing this topic, that an airline sacked 300 staff just last week. You understand? After having made them stay at home for almost 8 months without salary, at the end of the day, you sack them without salary again. So I think if this fund had come earlier, it would have helped airlines to cushion the effect of this pandemic on their operations. And I agree with Smart Adeyemi that the funds is not enough, but I also believe that it's better than nothing.
Now, definitely, that's what some people feel, that you know, a loaf of bread is definitely better than, half loaf of bread rather is better than nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
But finally, I would like to get your perspective on this. Of course, the aviation sector is very important for the Nigerian economy, and government on its part is doing everything it can to ensure that this sector doesn't, you know, go down, so to say. But finally, as an analyst, what more do you think the government can do to ensure that the aviation sector doesn't, you know, fade away with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Just a lot more the government needs to do. You understand? First of all, let's talk about airport operations. The government needs to remove multiple taxes from the airlines. You understand? The airlines pay so much money on taxes in Nigeria. It's not like that outside Nigeria. And that is why Nigerian passengers pay higher than most other passengers anywhere in the world. A flight from Accra to London is cheaper than a flight from Lagos to London, and it's about the same distance. So why should Nigerians pay more? It's because of the Nigerian government. They're not helping airlines. They're not helping Nigerian airlines grow. They're not helping even foreign airlines. You understand? Give rebate to Nigerian travelers. They should remove certain taxes from airlines, especially Nigerian airlines, so that they can be competitive. You understand? Foreign airlines are bullying Nigerian airlines. So I think the federal government needs to do something to come to their edge. You understand? For instance, an airline like Aviation is trying to diversify, is trying to expand its operation into international routes, but they are being bullied by international politics, and Nigerian government is not helping. Perhaps the Nigerian government is helping. I think they should do more. You understand? These airlines are sponsored by their government with even oil money, but Nigeria doesn't have a national carrier. So every airline in Nigeria is a private airline. That's why the government doesn't really pay so much attention to them. But I think the government should pay attention, because these airlines they employ labor. They employ labor. APC alone at a time had employed more than 3,000 Nigerians. I mean, how many companies in Nigeria employ as much as 3,000 Nigerians? So I think government should help them grow. That's one thing. Removing airport taxes. Another thing is improving on airport facilities. Like I said before, there are some runways in Nigeria that you land and your landing gear goes bad. It's an additional cost on the airline. Nigerian Airlines should have started with the opportunity airline. They have done Lagos, they have done Port Harcourt, Kano, they have done Enugu, Commissioner Enugu a few months ago. I think they should look into other airports in Nigeria and make them conducive for airlines to operate. Even at night, most airlines in Nigeria don't fly at night because once it's 6 p.m., the airport closes, no landing facility. Do you understand? If you take off from Lagos, for instance, to an airport somewhere that doesn't have landing right, if you get there by 7 p.m., you cannot land. I have to come back to Lagos. That's additional cost to the airline. So Nigerian government should improve facilities. If there are landing lights in all the airports, then these airlines can fly at night, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., even 12 midnight you're flying, because your aircraft make money when they're flying. You don't fly an aircraft for 6 hours in a day and park it. It won't make money for you there. So that's another thing they should do. Airport facility. Then they should also remove import duty from airlines, because these airlines import aircraft parts. They buy aircraft from abroad in dollars. They import aircraft parts in dollars and in billions of dollars. Do you understand? So Nigeria's government should do something to remove, or at least reduce, import duty on this tax, so that it will be the hardship should be less excruciating on the airlines. The airlines, you see them taking off and landing, you think they're making millions of naira. They aren't. They aren't. The money they make, half of it goes to to tax and on the facilities. You understand? So I think Nigeria Airlines has a lot to do. Make the operating environment conducive for these airlines. These airlines help Nigeria government to employ labor. You understand? If they don't employ labor, there'll be heightened level of insecurity, of course, borne by unemployment. You understand? Now with the COVID-19, a lot of people are at home because of COVID-19 effect. Now, if the Nigeria government can come to the head of these airlines, if the bailout that's been approved, if they can assess it as soon as possible, it will help them not to reach a compromise with their staff. I understand you cannot retain your staff and pay them 100%. No, that's not possible. Even major airlines, Emirates, they're having meeting with their staff, reaching a compromise. Stay and let's pay you this. Do you understand? A little to the left, a little to the right. So Nigeria Airlines should do whatever they can do to make sure this fund, one thing is to approve this bailout. Another thing is to make it available to the airlines that need it. I don't know how they're going to share it. 5 billion is not enough. There are about 8 airlines in Nigeria. Do you understand? So 5 billion is not enough for them. If the government can improve on that, perhaps 10 billion. We go a long way, making sure that the effort is cushioned. So that's another thing Nigeria Airlines should do. Perhaps look into what we thank them for the 5 billion. Look into stepping up. Perhaps, like I said, 10 million. It won't be too much, because these airlines are helping Nigerian government to cushion the effect of unemployment in the country. So that's another thing Nigerian Airlines Nigerian government should do. Another thing they should do is to stop giving foreign airlines multiple routes in Nigeria.
Okay.
It doesn't help Nigerian Airlines to grow. How do you give an airline a multiple routes? An airline in outside Nigeria flies to Lagos, flies to Kano, flies to Abuja, flies to Port Harcourt, flies to Enugu. Do you understand? Meanwhile, there are Nigerian airlines that do Lagos, Enugu, Lagos, Port Harcourt. So what's the point? The idea is that when a foreign airline brings in passengers from perhaps London to Lagos, then a Nigerian airline will help them distribute those passengers from Lagos to other parts of Nigeria. So having an airline flying from its hub in Europe or America or Middle East to multiple ports in Nigeria doesn't help Nigerian airlines to grow. It's stifling their growth. So,
but certainly, Ms. Salzo, these are some of the policies the Nigerian government needs to do, to look into rather. But let's talk about, briefly, Nigeria Air, the proposed national carrier that was announced in 2018. This is definitely 2020, and we are not saying much about it. Do you not think a national carrier would really help Nigeria's aviation industry?
A part of me thinks national carrier is necessary. Another part thinks it is not necessary. As a matter of fact, most carriers we call national carriers are not national carriers. For instance, British Airways is not a national carrier. It's privately owned, but it's a flag carrier of United Kingdom. American Airlines is not a national carrier, but it carries the flag of America. Even Kenya Airways is partly owned by government. The only airline in Africa that is wholly owned by government is Ethiopian Airlines and perhaps Rwanda Air. So while national airline is important, we shouldn't make too much fuss about it. If Nigeria as a country cannot float a new national carrier, then they should help the other private companies to grow. Listen, national carrier is important. Don't get me wrong; it's very, very important. In addition to helping give a citizen job, it helps in developing local content. local capacity. You understand? So, but I think as you speak, I'm not sure what the plan of the federal government of Nigeria is with respect to national carrier. It was a couple of years ago that it was unveiled in London. Farnborough Air Show. It was unveiled. In fact, the logo was unveiled, the brand was unveiled, the name was unveiled, to the utmost disappointment of many Nigerians, as a matter of fact. But that's not a problem. The problem is that 2 years after, we still haven't, that airline hasn't taken off. We haven't seen any aircraft. We haven't seen any office. No employment has been made. No recruitment has been made. So I think as for now, I'm not hoping. I don't have my high hopes that national carrier will come to fruition any moment from now. But in the time being, Nigeria government should support local carriers to fly their wings out there. I mean, apart from the 8 airlines in Nigeria, 2 or 3 are beginning to show their muzzle on the international route. AP is already on Dubai route. They will soon launch Johannesburg route in a few days from now. And Asma Air is preparing to fly to Dubai, China, and perhaps Egypt. So I think Nigeria Airlines should make the environment conducive for them. Let them try. If they grow, if they expand, then it's good news for everyone. It's a win-win for everyone. Nigeria wins. Nigeria as a country wins. Nigerians as a people win. Do you understand? So it's a win-win for everybody. And then there'll be employment. There'll be expansion. So and then there'll be less chaos in the society.
So definitely a win-win for the Nigerian economy and the aviation sector is what we are all looking out for. But thank you very much, Mr. Uzoeze. But this much we can take. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on Money Matters.
It's my pleasure being here.
And that was aviation analyst Chidozie Uzoeze talking to us about the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on Nigeria's aviation sector. I'm Folashade Ogurinde. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.